Top 10 Greatest Cities in Europe. With so many countries, Europe has an amazing amount of culture, history, and great vibes. Europe is home to some of the most important, impressive, and influential cities on Earth. Its small size belies it's an amazing variety. Europe's cities are wonderful places to visit because they have great art, architecture, and historical sites. You can go to bars, restaurants, shops, museums, or anywhere else as the beautiful sights are perfectly matched by the delicious food and nightlife scenes. Today we will discuss the top 10 greatest cities in Europe. But before we start our counting, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. Number 1. Paris. Paris is the epitome of Europe. It is a great city that is often copied around the continent and the world, but it is impossible to copy. It seems to have mastered the art of living in a sophisticated way, and it never lets you down. Even though Paris has the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, the Champs-Élysées, the Louvre, or Pompidou, and dozens of other museums with the best art in the. Of course, no trip to Paris would be complete without a visit to the Louvre, one of the most famous art museums in the world. The Louvre is home to over 35,000 works of art, including the iconic Mona Lisa. With so much to see, it's worth planning your visit in advance to make the most of your time there. The real permission experience is still sitting in a cafe or bistro, shopping on grand boulevards and squares, and walking along the Seine. Number 2. Rome. When you go to Rome, you can see the amazing works of art in the Vatican, but the city is most interesting because it was the capital of an ancient empire. The Colosseum, the Pantheon, and the artistic masterpiece in the Bukarest Gallery and the Capitol Museums are all reminders of it. But Rome is also about living la vita in the cobbled streets and squares, taking time for long lunches or just an espresso or gelato. Number 3. London. London is the capital city of Europe. It's the biggest and richest city on the continent. Its diversity and cultural influence, as well as the fact that there is always something new to see and do. These are some of the reasons why there is always Big Ben and other landmarks like the Tower of the Living History in Buckingham Palace and Westminster Abbey, and the major year-round exhibitions in Tate, Modern British Museum, and National Gallery. Number 4. Venice. Venice has the most beautiful private homes ever built, called palazzos, which can be seen from a gondola ride through a romantic network of canals. Rich people could also afford great art, and the Accademia Gallery has a lot of it, but it turns out that Venice itself is the greatest work. It is the only city in the world that can be called truly unique and has a fairy tale feel. After looking at the Renaissance, Byzantine Gothic, and Baroque art and architecture, spend some time in the Peggy Guggenheim Museum to see modern art. Number 5. Florence. This artistic city is like an open-air museum, and even if you don't go inside any of its museums, you can learn about its history just by walking around it. But no one should leave without visiting the which has works by Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, Michelangelo, and many other famous artists. This is a romantic city with beautiful palaces that show off amazing architecture and sculpture. Number 6. Amsterdam. The art in Amsterdam's museums reminds us that the Dutch Golden Age was also a golden age for all of Europe. Rembrandt's best works are in the Rijksmuseum, while Van Gogh is one of the most interesting artists of all, has his own museum across the street. The Anne Frank House then reminds you of the worst time in human history, and it's the most emotional memorial of all the Holocaust museums and memorials around the world. And there are the canals, which are surrounded by well-kept buildings. Number 7. Athens. Some travelers are disappointed with Athens as a whole because they thought it would be a completely ancient city, but it's mostly just a big city from the 20th. But the ancient place neighborhood and the Acropolis take you back to the place where democracy started, and you can get close to some of the most amazing ancient sites. The Acropolis Museum and the National Archaeological Museum have the most important artifacts from ancient Greece, like the Parthenon and the treasures found around. Number 8. Barcelona. Barcelona is an urban gem that values the past but looks forward to the future with. It is a city with its own mind and rules. And more than any monument or museum, the city itself is the main attraction of Park Güell. Gaudi's second masterpiece after the Sagrada is like stepping into a fantasy world, and walking down Paigia is like looking at some of the most unique architecture in the world. But even though Gaudi is the most well-known artist from this city, Picasso lived there, and there is a museum with his earliest. Other great collections are at the Miro Foundation and the Palau Nacio, which has a lot of medieval art. Number 9. Lisbon. Lisbon is also the greatest place in the world to see the art of tile painting, which can be seen at the Tile Museum and at several monuments around the city. However, the best views of Europe's most beautiful capital can be seen from the terraces on top of the world-class Bardo Medi design and fashion museums, as well as the Orient Station by Santiago Calatrava. And the Portugal Pavilion by Savira is an example of a modern attraction. Number 10. Madrid for art lovers. Madrid is an unmissable destination. The Reina Sofia and the This and Beasts are two other world-class museums where you can see more masterworks from the Spanish Golden Age. The first one is the best place to see masterpieces by Salvador Dali, Picasso, and Miro. The second one shows works by artists like Rubens, Durer, and Monet from all the major periods of European art. But Madrid is mostly about living, which happens on the streets of Chuca down to the Grand Villa, and in plazas like Plaza Mayor. These are the top 10 greatest cities. So this was our today's video. I hope you all like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And also share it with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.